Welcome to the NPX Innovation Catalyst podcast, the podcast where we talk to innovative leaders in the nuclear industry and beyond. I'm your host, Margaret Macbeth, co-founder and innovation catalyst at NPX. Today we are podcasting from the beautiful offices of CanDo Owners Group in downtown Toronto, talking to three of the wonderful women who lead COG. We have with us Sonia Qureshi. Sonia is the Director of Joint Programs and Services at COG. She supports COG members in achieving excellence in the performance of the reactors and has over 20 years experience in the nuclear industry. She's a U of T alumni from chemical engineering and also the chair of the Women in Nuclear Golden Horseshoe chapter. Welcome, Sonia. Also with us, we have Jackie Hornwet. Jackie is a communications consultant who works with COG. She brings many years of experience in communications, brand management, stakeholder relationship management. Spent a lot of her career working with Ontario Power Generation, advising their executive team. Also a background as an award-winning journalist, I understand. Jackie is also a professor in the McMaster program, their Masters of Communication Management program, teaching reputation management. And interestingly, Jackie has served on many boards, but was chair of the Durham Energy Initiative.
Durham Strategic Energy Alliance, yes.
Which founded the incubator program now known as the Durham Spark Center. We also have with us Liette Lemieux. Liette is the Director of Research and Development Programs at COG. So she leads a very large and I'm sure very interesting portfolio of R&D projects that contribute to the innovation and continuous improvement of the CANDU reactors. Liette also has many years' experience in the industry in a number of interesting roles, including Director of Radiation Safety at Ontario Power Generation, experience in operations and maintenance, human performance, amongst other things. So really excited to talk to you as well.
Me too, you. Looking forward to it.
COG is a not-for-profit organization that has members from all of the CANDU operating stations amongst the world, including the supplier community, and runs programs supporting collaboration, information sharing, continuous improvement. Members from Canada, Argentina, India, Pakistan, South Korea, China, to name a few. So was just interested in understanding a little bit more about what COG does and the roles that you play.
Last year was the 35th year of COG, okay. and through that time, this has been a tremendous opportunity for the utilities to share information, share operating experience, develop research, and further not only the continuous improvement in the stations, but also a lot of innovation has come out of that. But the real value of this is that the members can look at places where they have common interest in running these stations, running the CANDU plants, and through a cost-sharing model and a collaboration model, they can exponentially take some investment and do much more together than they could do separately.
And I think one of the things that's really interesting about COG for me, and it's been quite a learning curve for me in the last year since I joined COG, it brings together a number of different types of organizations amongst our members and our suppliers. So you actually have the inputs from people who are gaining the operating experience and the work that's actually going on at the plant, working with the researchers and the technical specialists who are identifying future research needs. And I know I'm kind of focusing on research here, but after all, it is innovation. The whole concept of having that and a collaborative network really generates some excellent dialogue. And recently we've started bringing more contact opportunities with our regulators as well to ensure that we have all of the perspectives and input. And COG has that unique, because we're nonprofit, because we're collaboratively funded, we can leverage the funding that we do get from our members and get more from it. And it's really kind of exciting to see what comes out of the back end of any of those investments, whether it's research or joint projects or any of the peer groups that we're responsible for overseeing. I think COG has quite a unique footprint in the Canadian industry, and more so not just in the Canadian industry, which is kind of exciting for me, because I like all of the work that we've been doing in the last year, reaching out to the international community, and building those bridges so that we're bringing in more than just the Canadian learnings. We've now got international learnings that we can build on.
We've been able to utilize the collaboration model to actually extend the life of plants in Ontario. As we know that the Ontario government is spending a lot of money right now in the big infrastructure projects in basically the world, I would say, that are happening at Ontario Power Generation and Bruce Power, and COG has a really big hand in that. One of our biggest projects at COG is the Fuel Channel Life Management Project and Spacer Life Management Projects, and they are directly doing research to support the licensees in getting those extensions from the regulator. So, we're really proud of that fact. We spent a lot of time and effort to work with our utilities, Bruce Power and OPG, who have been the main participants in that project, but also Atomic Energy of Canada, now CNL, who were original participants, have also contributed. Our supply chain is heavily involved. So we have the suppliers along with the utilities working together to really move this industry forward and to get the second generation out of our reactors. So, without that collaborative model that COG really offers, I don't think we would be in the same place we are today.
It sounds like you guys are really leading a lot of the innovation here. Is there sort of an example you can share around innovation that you've seen that's been quite impactful?
There's one that's relatively recent and being deployed currently, and we're still gathering information on how much benefit. We know it's definitely a benefit. So one of the pieces of research that we have done and continue to do is on the use of those types of chemicals that can be applied that actually reduce that. So we have these new film-forming amines that are being injected that actually mean that you don't have to wet lay up a steam generator. You don't have to worry about filling and refilling that steam generator and then flushing and reflushing it at the back end of an outage. And you can save days on a maintenance outage. And it's a significant amount of money impact and a significant amount of time impact and a significant increase in maintenance efficiency. So that's an innovation that has sort of progressed to the point where we're actually applying it.
At COG, there's certainly a lot of diversity in your workforce. You are leading gender diversity in our industry in terms of not only your leadership team being 50-50 gender split, but throughout the organization as well.
I've been at COG for about 4 years now, and when I first joined COG, it was the traditional COG that we knew of before. So it was an all male management team at that time. And I think in the last couple of years, there has been a very distinct move towards, looking at other opportunities and bringing in people who may not have already retired. When I first joined COG, a lot of people came to me and said, "You're not retired. Why are you working at COG?" And I said, "Yes, that's true, but not only retired people work at COG." And so there was a very, a focused effort to go out into the industry and bring people into the COG workforce that were, mid-career, had some experience, but still had some, way to go in their career and wanted to grow and that. So I think COG has did a fantastic job. I think our president, Fred DeMarker, has really, put an emphasis on trying to diversify leadership and so obviously we have some diverse people sitting on our panel here today. But it's been a really refreshing change. Even throughout our organization, our project managers, program managers all come from, various nationalities, but very gender balanced, I would say. It's a lot different than just even a few years ago.
How do you stay balanced? How do you stay energized? How do you come through the door every day ready to lead a team?
Coffee.
Lots of caffeine.
What is the secret, if there is one?
I've learned over the years that I actually have to be cognizant about my work-life balance, and that I'm no good at my job if I'm exhausted and stressed. And I have an extremely supportive husband. I can't. Hi, George. He's a wonderful, wonderful guy. We really enjoy, and have always enjoyed, camping. And that gets us out into nature and to really, I guess, appreciate the natural environment that we have here in Canada, that we can get out and really appreciate it and have that connection to something that we're actually helping to continue to sustain by what we do as a job.
Ironically, maybe, I actually teach a work-life balance course occasionally. First, I need to teach myself. Maybe do a little bit more work on that. But, for me, it really, there's a couple of things. One is, first of all, there's a certain amount of sleep that I need, and I need to eat well. So I have to take care of those things because I do work a lot of hours. But really, then it comes to me, it's what do I get charged up about, right? There's a lot of hobbies that I think, I would like to be playing the guitar. I would like to be sewing. My husband has become like a running joke. He smirked when I bought the sewing machine that is still in the box. But for me, what keeps me grounded is the people that I work with. And, in addition to a wonderful family who and so it really comes at the end of the day to the relationships, whether that's with my family, whether it's with the people that I work with, and the people both at COG and the other clients that I have, but also the people who are working with me at my own organization. And it's those, because those are the everyday conversations, and they are either going to energize you or they're going to bring you down.
Amazing. If people want to find out more about Can Do Owners Group or what's going on at COG, how can they do that?
So if you are a member of one of the utilities or the supplier participants who are members of COG, you can actually sign on to go on the member website. And not only do you get, all of the stories that we cover on an ongoing basis of current affairs, but there is a library of research, of information, of operational information, a database of over 45,000 operating events that you can go in and explore that may actually give you, a shortcut. You don't have to reinvent the wheel if you go into the database and pull some of that best practices or experience that's already happened. So that is www.cogonline.org. But also, if for some reason you're watching this and you're not in one of those organizations, we also have a public website, which is a portal into that world that also gives you a lot of the information about COG, how to access some of the things that are going on in the industry, and has a news magazine page that keeps up with the regular current events, and that is cando.org, www.cando.org.
And I would absolutely encourage people to check it out. You guys do fascinating work. Liette, Jackie, Sonia, can't thank you enough for taking the time to talk to me today, share your stories. It's been fantastic.
Thanks, Margaret.
Thanks for having us.
Great.
Yeah, thanks.
I learned some stuff from these guys too.
Thanks for listening to the NPX Innovation Catalyst podcast. To hear the full podcast and to subscribe, you can go to Apple Podcasts, Google, or wherever podcasts are available.